Hi, good evening and Assalamu alaikum, Shalom alaikum, Ni hao, Namaste, Sat Sri Akal. Again, today my talk will be amalgamation of different topics, different concerns raised by my friends and dear ones. Firstly, I will deal with that issue of offshore companies, which has caused too much tension here in Pakistan. Our Prime Minister is now hospitalized in London, and tomorrow he is going to have an open heart surgery, and we are all praying for his good health. And then our President Mamnoon Hussain, he had to visit military hospital Rawalpindi because of some anticipated heart problem, but thanks God that he was normal. What the focus of Panama Leaks issue is, the beneficial point, is that has been raised by Madam Hillary Clinton in her campaign speech, that she will tax those offshore companies. Once she has been elected as President of USA, she will tax the offshore companies because they have bases within America and they are sort of multinationals. So she is thinking in terms of generating revenue. And obviously, I by myself, I know the realities of Pakistani society, and I do think in the same terms. I mean, when I have raised this point, I wanted to have the same thinking here, that these offshore companies which are having base here in Pakistan, because the owners are not only political elite, but they are also big businesses and big industries here in Pakistan. So we shall also tax those offshore companies. But then our politicians, they have started point scoring against each other. And obviously the moral issue was there and the legal issue too is there if nobody has any proof. Because we have got a law here in State Bank that when we want to invest money abroad, we shall seek permission of the State Bank first. So at that point, obviously, the legal violations are there, and but being a realist, I know that the first and top priority of our country shall be, our people shall be, to enhance our revenue base. Budget is quite near now, and we all know what the budget is. In simple words, it's a statement regarding income and expenditure of a nation, that can be of a family too. So Pakistan till 15th June we are supposed to have another budget. Our fiscal year starts from June. So preparations are underway, and the reports about the Prime Minister Sahab is that he has to take rest at least for 3 months after having that open heart surgery. So that is another issue that shall be settled by his political party, and if required, and of course it is required, because we always need an active prime minister. So the parliament is there to decide about it, and about budget, I'll say that since long, after each budget, the nation feels here in Pakistan. I do interact with the common people here. Some of them are not so common. In the evening, I sit with the elders, and one elder is first cousin of Nabab of Kohat, Khanzada Azmat Ali Khan's cousin. He is a literate person, a retired officer of excise department. So they all raise their concerns before me, and here the tradition is that we are not supposed so eloquently as I do before camera, before our elders. We are not supposed to talk so eloquently. So normally I stay silent, but his question is that how Pakistan will survive. When he asks me, why don't you go to your office? And I tell him that on 15th of November 2013, my deputation orders as monitoring officer of Water Disaster Management Authority, my deputation orders were expired. And I need further extension to sit in office. And from the last 2 years, despite of my written requests, despite of my personal appearances before the head office people, no further orders are being issued. Though those who are corrupt, they are being arrested, and they are in custody of NAB, but we are not being restored. Our salaries are still stuck, and the federal government was fine. Though the FDMA is also a federal department, but my part-time duty with the Associated Press of Pakistan, I don't have any problem with that. Though the delay in salary is there and some 5 years salaries are stuck there, but there is no insult. No problem is there that my contract is still valid, and the yearly service cards are being issued to us. So I'm working for them. And to the elder, I can respond through this media to his query that they had given us Pakistan, where the educated, highly educated and experienced are compelled to work under the less educated and less experienced. So if you will try to put a cart before the horse, how you will run it? How you will make it move? So to ask me that what is going to be the future of Pakistan and how it will be corrected, we are having generalized structure here. Say for example, when I came up with the highest degree in US studies and international relations, they have told me that you have to deliver lectures in law college because we have a generalized structure and you can teach that US Constitution, British Constitution and international law, which you have studied as a subject. I did 1 or 2 courses in these subjects. So what my idea was that specialized knowledge is needed, because the one who had taught me international law, he was the only PhD in Asia, Dr. Ijaz Hussain. And Quaid-e-Azam University is also part of Pakistan. The little difference is between other universities and Quaid-e-Azam University that we don't have fixed courses as we have in Peshawar University or in Punjab University or in the rest of Pakistani universities. Our courses are brought from America by our professors. They teach us latest courses and that's why we are a bit different than our other counterparts whom are having same degrees from other universities. So this is what is happening in Pakistan. Islamabad is also part of Pakistan. It is a capital city of Pakistan. So if Associated Press of Pakistan can manage its affairs honestly, what a disaster management authority can also do that. But why they are not doing that, that is not my headache. That is headache of Governor Sahab, that is the headache of President of Pakistan through these video lectures and through my written words. The whole thing has been communicated to them. If they want to correct the whole thing, I'll be there in my office. The moment I receive, they can send my orders through that. My previous deputation was here in Quad, German Facilitation Center. They can send extension orders through TAC. And my office is near to home, I can go and sit there. But without express orders, I cannot continue my duty. The situation is like this. And with due respect to all the elders whom are asking that question, I will repeat again that by putting cart before the horse, we cannot run the buggy, you see. The horse has to be in front of the cart if you want it to be moving. And same is the case with every department here which is a failure. And ironically, you see, in my country, I love my country and I want to educate my people. And nationalization is really bad. But privatization of public sector colleges and schools, that is also very bad. Creation of more schools and colleges and universities in private sector is a blessing. Half of Punjab teachers, the government schools which are being privatized, are out on streets protesting. Destruction of PIA to create one more private sector airline. That is a criminal activity. You are not supposed to destroy state institutions in the name of privatization. There shall be logic in it. Privatization means whatsoever is there, and you liberalize the whole thing so that more private sector institutions can be developed. So that is really very disturbing what is going on here. Here suspicion arises that someone is deliberately trying to bring down the third nuclear power. Through its agents. And that's why investment in offshore companies, that amount which is being invested there, that becomes important to ascertain the source of that amount, from where that money was being invested there in offshore companies, because many politicians are involved in it. And it's a question of our national security. Deliberate efforts to destroy government institutions is also a very criminal approach. Creation of law and order situations all around, and reluctance to take welfare measures to make life easy for our armed forces, because once we are a welfare state, there won't be any reason for anyone to become a militant, to get money from anywhere else and to start a fight against the state. That is a pivotal issue, and nobody is, once on 23rd March speech, President had mentioned about it, that we are taking all the steps to make Pakistan a welfare state, but so far there is no concrete evidence of any step taken so far. And on the ground situation is that rampant unemployment is there. The steps are being taken to unemploy the people further. Once the people of Pakistan are not happy with Pakistan, how can you or me can keep them loyal to it? It's a human psychology. You go and try to bribe Americans, they will let you know. From their response, you will realize that they are free people in their own country. They have property rights. They have their own properties. Their lives are being secured. Their armed forces are guaranteed. They are guaranteer of their freedom. They come and fight. They are so rich that in each household they have 3 vehicles, 3 cars in each household in USA. And their living standard is so high that people in third world cannot even imagine about it. And they come to fight here in Afghanistan to secure freedoms of their people, because they were being attacked on 9/11. So we shall have the same spirit in our armed forces. We shall have the same spirit in our politicians. We shall have the same spirit, the same big ego as Americans have. They don't depend upon anybody. They're self-sufficient in all respects. Even through oil, you cannot hit them below the belt. They do have their own oil resources, and they have got enough oil reserves too. It is Europe which is dependent upon oil from Middle East. And that will be really very criminal. That was a criminal thinking, you know. Frankly speaking, I do think in global terms. you cannot confine my mind to only Islamic Ummah. I love my Muslim brothers and I do always try to guide them. And the true guidance is that the one who is your benefactor, never go against him. These were the Americans who came up with their oil companies to Middle East, and they had explored the oil there for you, and you are now prosperous. All the guidance, all the technological know-how, even investments came from United States of America and from the rest of Europe. And oil is the lifeline of Europe. If you stop that to them, you are trying to strangulate your own benefactors. Those whom are your teachers, those whom have taught you all this, how to exploit your resources, how to become rich, how to live a good life. So in the past, I don't want to name any elder leaders and all that. I only believe in the words of and the wisdom of Field Marshal Muhammad Ayub Khan, though he was a general of Pakistan Army. Even today, if you compare his speeches with rest of the so-called democratic leaders, you will realize that demagoguery is there. Necroma is speaking. Only the wisdom and sincerity and honesty is coming out from the mouth of Field Marshal Ayub Khan. And those who remember the war fought between India and Pakistan, the 10 times bigger adversary who was being defeated. Though I by myself, I consider all that a foolish activity. The wars between India and Pakistan and even the previous happenings, that was too cruel, and I cannot appreciate such things. So 65 war, when your leader is honest and upright and sincere, the nation stands with him. When you want me to compare the 71 responses, and even right now the rates are going up and of everything, of essential commodities, while the oil prices are coming down and down. In 65 war, not a single penny in rates were increased of essential commodities. Your leader at that time was a real man. So I hope those who were asking about all this, they are now clear about it. Demagoguery never works. People, you cannot befool the people. They know that this is all jugglery and someone is trying to entertain them. So they also entertain themselves when once they have no other option. Where shall they go? When political parties become hereditary institutions like mafia-like institutions, and they block everything, and some of them are so cunning that they go to the West even to propagate that elections are not, if there are some reservations from bureaucracy and army regarding their structure, they cry out there that democracy is in danger in Pakistan. No, no, no. Until and unless you don't have a democracy within the party structure, maybe you can befool the West. Even you can't befool them. Sometimes probably they need people who can just strive to be, or who can be of some of their use. So that's why they stay silent over the issue of democracy within the political parties. The factual position is, and the constitutional position is, that without having a political organization in real sense, you cannot become eligible to hold power, real power in Pakistan. And that thing has that hereditary political institutions that phenomena had hampered the uh, progress towards democracy, because democracy within the political parties, that creates a environment of healthy competition within political parties, and the talent comes up finally. Even some malpractices are there. Those people are being exposed to the people, to their own party enrolled members who are supposed to vote for them. So they are mostly rejected by the people. So these are the certain realities why Pakistan is not moving forward. If our brainy scientists can save us from the brutalities of our 10 times bigger neighbor who was in bad habit of, if we realistically, I mean, it's a human nature where the ignorance is there. People, they follow their instinct. So a vast Hindu majority within the United India was making life difficult for Christians, Muslims, Sikhs. And once the partition was made, then that that was not accepted by the Hindu majority in India. Pakistan was put in a very difficult situation. 3 wars were initiated against Pakistan. Unresolved dispute of Kashmir, our share in assets, common assets, were not being resolved, and then there was a covert war, sabotage activity, which had resulted in murder of 60,000 civilians and army personals of Pakistan here. So it's a history filled with bloodletting of 63 years soon after partition, and of high-handedness of Hindu majority. Sikhs were also within Indian Union. They were in big trouble. Army action was taken against them. Christians, they always complained within India, even now, that they are being compelled to change their religions. Muslims are also in a difficult situation there. Though sometimes I laugh with my friends that we must think over it, our Hindu friends, that yeah, if you are sick, doctor cannot prescribe a balanced diet for you. A Hindu friend cannot have a balanced diet chart for himself or herself. Why? Because they can only eat vegetables. You cannot include beef and other stuff. I don't know whether they're allowed to eat fish and chicken and all that. I've never been to India. My interaction with them was very little here in university. Some of them were with me as students. So that is really funny. We shall think about promotion of some sort of ideology which is not so logical. I mean, it's just good to, I mean, but one must think that for killing for something or converting everybody towards an ideology where you cannot have a balanced diet after converting yourself into it, how you will stay like a healthy being? We must think on these issues, and we shall strive to have some sort of understanding without hurting the religious sentiments of each other. And obviously, my assertions are in an English language, so My Hindu friends are even very literate, and obviously they know that the type of person I am. I don't uh, uh, point out anything which is harmful to the people of any sort, of any religion. And I think everybody has a right to have a balanced diet. Nobody shall be anemic. Huh? So it's your religion, your life, and all that, but don't try to convert all of us in such a vigor that we shall that we start feeling suffocation while sitting at a distance in a free environment. Even we are not so free. So our scientists have saved us from that brutalizing impact of vast Hindu majority, which is bent upon converting us forcefully. And I hope that we can understand all this, which I am talking about, and already many of our politicians, they know all about it, what the politics is and how we can uh, improve the lot of our people. So we must have a mechanism viable enough to keep our people secure in independent Pakistan, not only from declared wars, but from separate activity too. And that has been taken well by our armed forces. Many networks have been removed. Recently, some Afghans were doing very nasty things there in Balochistan. They are being arrested, and IS is involved in it. And that is an open secret that even in 1965 or when we were babies, I had asked my grandpa that how from India a bomber, a lousy bomber can come and start bombing Kohat, which is having high and lofty mountains, and airstrikes here are not possible. And my grandpa told me that, son, that plane came from Afghanistan. They have a strategic alliance, and since long, somehow, in Pakistan, you know, we guys can not have a very, I mean, I do not include myself in those people whom are committed to only scientific development. I believe in balanced growth. Social sciences shall be developed. We shall have a very intelligent foreign minister, very intelligent politicians who can make democratic political parties and can rule this country, because social scientists can do that. They can teach people, they can create more politicians without knowing the statecraft. How we can, while holding a nuclear bomb in hand, we cannot secure our country only. We have to have strong state institutions, brilliant politicians, a brilliant foreign minister who can even convince India not to pursue such policies of encircling us and isolating us. And war is not in benefit of all of us. And we shall live in peace. So we have to develop social sciences too. And obviously Rome was not built in a day. I'm giving guidelines as much as possible. Was unable to do that before because everybody knows that once, I don't know whether I was so popular or whatsoever, but four jobs in a day, then family, children, elders, social activities, and then rampant, rampant and frequent attacks on my life. I'm also a human being. I don't have that much strong nerves. Uh, Let me tell you a funny story that is real. Me, while sitting with Dragosh as a uh, officer in uh, voter education section of UNOCRV, I had my immediate boss was Dragosh there, an engineer by profession. So I had to make a report daily, and most of the responsibilities are on me. So once once the subordinates, they have told me that there is some problem in a women's section where the female voters were supposed to come and cast their vote for Afghan presidential elections. I knew my culture. I by myself alone was unable to intervene. So I had consulted my colleagues, and then elders were there, and they were of the view that two ladies will go inside, ladies officers which were with us, and they will go inside, and me and guards and that driver, we will be sitting out, and we will be there for protection of our female officers. So we went together, and the office was in Quad KDA. The moment we reached near main offices of Quad Development Authority, there was a type of suicide vehicle attack. I was sitting in front as usual. The females were at the back seats, and the front portion of the vehicle was quite huge. That was a UN vehicle. So the other vehicle, attacking vehicle, was smashed, and our vehicle was also damaged because they had rammed their vehicle in our vehicle in front of everybody. The people in offices there, they all came out, and thanks God that we were all secure, but my knees were a bit in pain. But finally, when I came out from the vehicle, I was normal. Now, the funny aspect of this whole issue is that our guards came, and everybody was that vehicle that they were arrested. All those guys were arrested, and I don't know what was finally happened to them. We came back to we are brought back to our office, and finally, the outcome of that whole episode was that after the end of even that project, whenever I used to travel in a vehicle, the moment another vehicle used to appear from the side, in my subconscious that fear was there that that vehicle is going to hit the vehicle in which I am sitting. So I used to be in a defensive position then. And when I realized the situation that it's a sort of obsession or what, so I have started meditation and, along with the physical exercises which I do on regular basis. So finally I had recovered that feelings. But you cannot stay so normal when you are mistreated. And that's why I was, though I was raising all these issues through my writings and all that, but never was willing or in a mood to deliver lectures on these issues or to come out in public. Even was unwilling to answer while sitting in company of friends, because I knew that my professors had told me, one professor had told me that, yeah, if you will go back to Kuhat, you will be in danger and be in Islamabad. But the mom was sick and her sickness, in Asian way, mothers, they have their own plans, and then finally her sickness was resulted in my wedding and all that of her choice. And so then I'm stuck here in Kuhat, working sometimes with Pakistani Air Force, with Associated Press of Pakistan, with UN, with private law college and college of education, and private university as vice chancellor. So I have strived, and the important point is that there was no realization. Now that media has been liberated here in Pakistan, now people have started thinking and expressing themselves too. So my lectures even are being taken seriously here in Pakistan. These all 5, 6, 7 video lectures, and there is a big impact. And I think that I'll be understood clearly. I want offshore companies to be taxed. What immoral or illegal activity was there? That is a headache of law enforcing agencies. And I think that there was a funny statement from Hussain Nawaz Sharif that we don't want to pay taxes. That's why we had invested abroad. And I think once his papa is recovered, and if he understood what I'm talking about, he will be the one who will tax you. Don't worry. You cannot escape the tax net. It's a great idea of Madam Hillary Clinton, and though I don't believe in copying everything, but of course we don't have any other options here in Pakistan. The budget is quite near, and we need a big revenue base for another year's budget. If we succeeded to tax the offshore companies, which are quite large in number of Pakistanis will be in a very better situation, and they can have a welfare system too, which will reduce the headache of our armed forces, because once the state is taking good care of the people, once our police system has been improved, because once we are having money, we can invest in better training, better equipment of police force, and further intelligence agencies. So that's why we can move further, and on international scenario, I'm worried about Fallujah, Iraq, where the reports are very negative. People are committing suicides there because the populace was stuck inside Fallujah when the war started between militants and government forces. And I request all of them that they shall give a fair chance to the population to leave. Obviously militants, they don't let that do, because they use the population as human shields. But the government, as we do here in Pakistan, what a disaster management authority do. We bring out all the people from war zone into camps, and then our army confront the militants. And militants, they don't find any place to hide behind the human shield. So that's why our army has succeeded to clear the troubled areas in FATA. And that's why our department was under attack, because once after our induction, The director is very intelligent, and now he's probably secretary. He had told us that, yeah, actually, when we remove that human shield for militants, we bring out the tribesmen into camps. The militants cannot hide anywhere. That's why the explosions takes place in near our offices, or we are attacked, because we are the one whom are putting them in a disadvantageous situation. But that was too late, you know. We were in, and we were being inducted. And then everybody knows what was happening to all of us. And I think that I have said enough today, and hope all the elders and rest of the world community uh, probably will become satisfied with my assertions, explanatory assertions, which I am doing voluntarily. Again, I repeat that my blog, my other ventures in cohort, all are my personal investments. I mean, even I am not getting anything from family for these. I mean, whatever I earn, I invest uh, in my these volunteer activities, and I hope I am serving the humanity. I wish all of you all the best.